Hey, happy Sunday, everybody. I wanted to come to you today because for two things. One is my new believers, my new friends in Christ, and ones that are thinking about coming to Christ, and those that don't believe in the Bible at all. I wanted to come on here and tell you my story and how it all started for me, and maybe it'll help somebody else. So if you're wondering, how do I do this? How am I going to do this? Whatever, then hopefully my story will help you have your own story. You can't have the same story as me, but you can have your own story. I want to call back in those days, in the beginning. I was the biggest critic there was. I called myself a big critic because if I didn't see it with these eyes right here, I didn't believe it. You couldn't tell me nothing if you don't show me. And so I was wondering, how in the world am I going to do this? Because obviously at that moment I'm not thinking, well, you can see God, you can see miracles, all that stuff, because at that point I really didn't feel like I had seen any of that stuff. So how can I believe in something I don't see? And so I began the journey and I asked God, if you're real, show me who you are. And prior to this, I was searching. There was always something missing, something missing in my heart. And I was trying to fill it with all this stuff all over the place. And I was drinking, I was partying, I was carrying around, I was acting like a fool, I was mean, I could be revengeful, I was all those things. And so when people say, you know what, let's go to God and give your life to Christ, I'm like, where I'm at right now, I can't stop doing everything that I'm doing. It's just impossible. I'm not ready. I gotta come when I'm ready. I gotta come maybe when I stop drinking. I gotta come maybe when I'm have a little more peace in my life. I can come when I'm cleaned up a little bit, so to speak. Then I can come to God. And I didn't grow up in church, and I didn't grow up reading the Bible or any of those things. So to me, it was it's a little too impossible to believe in. I kind of knew that there was maybe a higher power, so to speak, but I just didn't know exactly what I was trying to look for and what I was trying to search for. And I went to church a couple times. I went with my grandmother. She was going to Catholic church at the time. And I mean, not to say anything against Catholic churches or anything like that, but it just wasn't for me. And I didn't like the idea of religion. Religion and religious people, they just seemed judgmental, they seemed uptight, they seemed stiff, they just seemed too serious, and that wasn't like me at all. So when you're thinking about stuff like this, you think you want to be around like people, right? That's not my personality. I'm not, stiff. I'm not that serious. As you can tell in my videos, I'm never that real, serious. I get serious when I'm talking about God, yeah, but so I didn't want to follow rules, laws, tradition, rituals, whatever you want to call them. Those things weren't for me because I was not a follower either, so to speak. So I didn't like to follow anything like that, And I read the Bible one time. A friend from high school gave me a Bible, and I read it, and it was, a harder version to read, so I wasn't really feeling it at the time. And I was telling my one friend that I met, Cindy, at my job, and at this time I had moved to Atlanta, so I was I was 39 years old, well into my 40s, before I really started doing my version of my search for Jesus Christ. And so when she sent me this Bible, it was like a new believer's Bible. I needed something simple. I needed something easy. When you're in the beginning stages and you want to learn more, it's kind of like The easier you make it for somebody, the easier it'll be. So I started reading that Bible, and I figured even at the state where I was at in my life, again, I wasn't perfect. I thought that I had to be perfect, but he met me where I was at. He met me. He didn't make me stop drinking. He didn't make me, I didn't feel condemned. I didn't feel, all these things, the things that I was already doing. I felt love. And when I was reading the Bible, and you hear God sent his only son to come for us, and he knew that he was going to have to die, right? And I thought about that because I had a son at the time, and there's no way I would have gave my son for anybody. So for him to do that means what? He has a lot of love for people, humans. And when I began to read, I was like, oh, this might be something, because, at the time, God is love, and he was talking about giving his only son, and that's love, and Jesus came, and he knew his outcome, so Jesus must have loved us too. And I was thinking to myself, this was about love, and I need love. So I was like getting more and more interested in reading what I was reading. It says, Jesus came to set the captives free, and I felt like in that time in my life I was in captivity because I wasn't joyful. I wasn't happy. There was good things going on in my life and bad things going on too, but inside, the inner inside, I was not feeling that joy. So when I'm reading this stuff and he's saying Jesus came to set the captives free, I'm like, you know what? I need freedom. And Jesus, is leaving us peace that surpasses this world. Like, we won't understand. It's not the peace of this world. It surpasses all that. And I'm thinking to myself at that time, I need peace. And, he's talking about he came to heal the sick. And I'm thinking to myself, I need healing. So the more I was hearing about it and the more I was reading about it, it began to be a journey for the peace and the love and the healing that I was needing after all these years of everything that has happened to me in my life. And I started reading more and more, and at that time I wasn't really going to church. And to me, even to this day, I love going to church, to fellowship. I'm in there all the time. I love the praise and worship. I do that stuff at home too. So I won't necessarily say that you have to be a 100% church goer when you start your journey. So just remember that. Church is you. You meet Jesus. He meets you right where you're at. And he wants a relationship with you above all else. So if you're going to church every Sunday, that's not going to make you any closer to him than you spending time in his word with him at home. And then, I got all these new people on my Facebook now, and, you get those people that are the critics of the Bible and saying that it's not real and make-believe and all this stuff. But, they haven't really shown me and proven to me otherwise, because I'm going off of my personal experience. And I suggest that you go off your personal experience after seeking Jesus yourself. And my personal experience is when I'm reading that Bible, it was filling me with something. It was filling my soul. That place that I was talking about, that I was searching, trying to fill, it was filling that area for me. And the words, literally, I kid you not, the words, some of the sentences of the Bible, they would like come out of the page a little bit. They would be like bolder and brighter, the ones that I needed to see that day, or the ones I needed to read and really pay attention to. It started to like not jump off the page, but they were bolder. They would come forward a little bit more. And things that I was going through, like say for example, I used to like, you know, because like I said, I was a critic. So I used to like test the Bible, and I would like try to open it up in the middle somewhere or off to the side or wherever the case may be. And I'd be like, you know, if you know, if you're real, whatever, you give me a sign, give me a word, something. And lo and behold, when I would open up the Bible and flip to random pages and read a paragraph or sentence or something, it literally pertained to me that day. And I tell you, I don't care how many times you read the Bible, it's a different book every time. And there's not too many books, if you want to call it a book, out there that can do that. There's not too many books that'll sit up there and the words will jump out at you. There's not too many books that'll sit up there and relate to you. There's not too many books that will sit up here and fill that empty space in your heart. There's not too many books that will help you to really know your identity in who you are and who you are in Christ and God. And there's not too many books that bring healing from the book. There's not too many books that bring inner peace. And so if you want to tell me that it's not real and it's mythical and oh it's been changed and all this other stuff, and yeah, it had to be changed because it's trying to be transformed into English, right? Some of those words in there don't have the same meaning as over here, but the basic foundation of the book still is what it is. And what you're going to get from it, whether you call it changed or not, translated different or not, is still the same thing. And I don't understand why people have such a problem saying that the Bible is controlling or anything like that, because God gave us free will. He ain't controlling anything. It's your option to pick up the Bible and read it or not. It's your option to believe in God or not. It's your option to go to church or whatever you want to do or not. It's your option to love him or don't love him. How is he trying to control you? And the only thing that I found in the Bible to me was how to be a better person. How to forgive. You know, there's a lot of unforgiveness in my heart. Like I said, I was revengeful. I didn't want to forgive nobody. I wanted to hurt people. I wanted bad things to happen to them. So it taught me how to forgive people. It taught me how to love, because, you know, I may have had my own idea of what love was, but it wasn't really what love is. And so my love was selfish. My love was conditional. My love was do what I want you to do and then I'll love you. But it taught me how to love unconditionally. It taught me how to pray for my enemies. Where do they do that at? And it taught me how to have a heart for them, because I think about, you know, God could have left me right where I was at too. I was somebody's enemy. I was a few people's enemies. And he taught me how to pray for them, because, okay, yeah, they're doing something that they're not supposed to be doing now. So was I. But he still came for me, and he's coming for them too. So pray for them. They might not have anybody else to pray for them. And that's a whole nother story, right? That's a whole nother video. But he taught me how to, you know, forgive and pray for people. And he taught me, the Bible taught me how to have faith, to believe in what I'm not seeing, because up until this point, remember what I was saying, if I can't see it, I don't believe it. And there's so much out here in this world that you don't see the air, but you believe that you're breathing it, right? There's so many things out here that you don't see, but they're real. And it taught me how to believe in that. And it taught me how to believe in the impossible, because up until this point in my life, before I opened up the Bible, I was kind of going off based on what was right in front of me. And if I were to do that, I'd be sitting up here living sad and desolate and everything else, because that's what was in front of me. It wasn't, oh, you can be happy, you can be joyous, you can be this, you can be that. the Bible taught me my identity. You know, I'm a child of God. And nothing is too hard for God. Nothing's impossible for God. So guess what? It's not impossible for me either. And, you know, and Jesus, you know, when you're reading about Jesus in the Bible, he spoke to people that people wouldn't even speak to. The woman that had all those men in her life and she wasn't married. The prostitutes and the tax collectors and the murderers, the people that he sat down and spoke with and he came for. He didn't come for perfect people. He came for those who need that love, that hope, and that faith and what have you. And it changed their lives, and it changed mine too. So when you're reading all this stuff, I don't see controlling in there at all, unless you want to be religious about it and say that you got to follow these tradition rules, whatever regulations, and you have to do this stuff and A, B, C, D, you have to be this way or what have you. And you walk around like, you know, I'm perfect and I know all about the Bible and what have you, but you don't have that love and you don't have that heart for your fellow brothers and sisters. And I'm talking about everybody. I'm not talking about people that look like you. I'm not talking about people that act like you. I'm talking about love for everybody. And if you have that love for everybody, then you're doing, you know, a good thing. So it taught me about religion. You know, there was religious people in the Bible and Jesus didn't like those people. That's my kind of guy, because guess what? Remember what I told you in the beginning? They were too stiff. They knew it all for me. They were too perfect. They were judgmental, and they looked too serious. So those weren't my kind of people either. And so to read that Jesus didn't come and hang out with them when he could have, because right, they knew everything in the Bible. They knew all the stuff that he knew. So why not sit with them? Because they're like, you know, they have that already. So to me, it's all about, I didn't see any control in there, and I didn't see anything that would lead me to believe that it's a bad thing for you to read. You can sit up here and call it the best self-help book ever in life, because it helped me to be a better person. It helped me to be this strong enough, bold enough. You know, I used to be really shy before all this, unless of course I was drinking. And then, but I used to be really shy and I couldn't talk in front of me. I wouldn't be able to do these videos had I not found Jesus. You know what I mean? So there's like a self-confidence building in this book as well. And so I say all this to say that before you say that it ain't real, before that you say it's all fake or is controlling or what have you, before you listen to those same kind of people that I'm talking about, try it for yourself. And for my new believers, come as you are. Be in that place where you're at now. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you're a drug addict, alcoholic. I don't care if you're bitter, whatever the case may be. I don't care if you're smoking and whatever the case, whatever it is that you're doing right now, that where you think, well, I'm not ready to give that up yet. I'm telling you right now, you don't have to give that up yet, because all you need to do is read the Bible, speak with God, have that relationship with God, and the rest is history. All that stuff for me that was going on in the past, and I'm not going to say that I'm all the way where I want to be, but I am way further than I thought I could ever be. And I didn't do it all in one night. I didn't do it on my own. The desire, the more I read the Bible, the more I became closer to God, the more I praised and worshiped, the more I prayed, the more I filled my body with the Word, I began to slough some of those things off, and the forgiveness was there, the joy was there, and everything started to come out that wasn't there before. So before you critics, like I was a critic, before you critics get too hung up on criticizing, if you have not tried to have a personal relationship with God, if you have not made this a personal effort to have conversations with Him, sit down, get to know Him, read what He's about in the Bible, know that love, if you haven't tried it, how can you say that it's not real? How can you say that it's controlling? How can you say any of those things? Because like I said, I didn't see any of that. He's a God of free will as far as I'm concerned. And He wants you to love Him freely. He's not forcing you to love Him. He's not forcing you to seek after Him. He's not forcing you to go to church. He's not forcing you to do these rituals. He's not forcing you to even give up all those bad habits that you have right now to come to Him. He's going to love you right where you are at. In the midst of your sin, in the midst of your troubles, in the midst of it all, He loves you because He knew before He sent His Son, He knew what kind of people we were. He knew He was going to need Jesus to come down here and die on the cross for us because He knew that we were going to sin. So you don't have to hide from Him because you're sinning. You don't have to hide from Him because you feel mad or angry or bitter or hateful or unforgiving or alcoholic, drug addict. You don't have to hide from Him because of those things. He wants you to come just as you are. Because remember, in the Bible, He sat down with those people that most people wouldn't sit down with. He talked to those people, gave those people His time when other people probably wouldn't have gave them their time. And that's love. So if you are in a place where, like I said, He was about love. I need love. He was about freedom. I need freedom. He was about peace. I need peace. He was about healing. I need healing. He was about power and miracles. I need power. I need miracles in my life. And lo and behold, ever since then, the rest is history. Here I am talking to you on the videos and what have you. And I've seen miracles. I've seen signs. I've seen wonders. I've seen dreams. I've had people come up to me out of nowhere, strangers say things to me, and pay attention to all that stuff, because He'll send complete strangers out of nowhere to say something to you. You'll be like, wow, you can't fake that. You can't say that's a coincidence. There is a God. He loves you. He wants to have a relationship with you. Your personal relationship. Not what people told you. Not what people say about Him. He wants you to come looking for Him yourself and to find Him in the area that even in the midst of your worst times, to come and search for Him. And He ain't forcing you to do it. He ain't controlling you to do it. The Bible has not controlled me. I do everything that I want to do, and I have a better time doing it now than any party, any drinking, or any of those things, any revenge that I had took out on people that I thought was fascinating. I have a better time now than I ever did in my life. And so I say that to say that come check it out for yourself. Seek Him yourself. You ain't got to give up nothing. You ain't got to go to church every Sunday right now. Church to me is where we come together and we fellowship and we love on people and we praise and worship together. And I love a building full of people who love God. It's like a different kind of special feeling when you go there. Church, you get filled up when you're in the right church. I remember what I said. I had to go to a lot of churches first, search and search and search, until I found the place for me where I met God in church as well as at home. But it starts with me. It starts with you. You are the church. I am the church. We all come together in church. But the relationship with God is a personal relationship between you and Him and His Word. It's like the Word fills you. It's like you're eating the Word. And the more you eat the Word, the more it pushes out all that other stuff that you're desperately trying to work on to get rid of. He'll help you work through all that as long as you are in His presence, as long as you are in His company. He deals with that stuff. He doesn't come, you don't have to come purified and clean, because He didn't come for that. He came to help you in the state that you're in right now. So I just hope and pray that everybody watching this video, my new believers especially, that you give God a chance and ask Jesus to come into your life. Make Him your Lord and Savior, because I'm telling you, it is a miracle in itself, the transformation that He can do with you. Who I was 10 years ago is almost unrecognizable to who I am today. And I give God all the glory for that. Not me at all, because like I said, when I came to Him, I was shattered in bits and pieces. I was angry. I was bitter. I felt unloved. I was revengeful. I was hurt. And I needed to be healed. And He did all that for me. And I can sit here and smile. I'm not the richest or in the best place, but I am in a really good place. And it's all because of the Bible, my relationship with God. Stay blessed. Bye.